The Effects of Driving Under the Influence on Teenagers, narrated by Ayden Matherly. Driving under the influence of alcohol unfortunately happens often among teenagers. There are several aspects that impact these decisions despite knowing the risks, such as mental health, peer pressure, and lack of judgment. The impacts of teenage drinking and driving can be serious, leading to car accidents and fatalities, criminal charges, or even long-term trauma for everyone involved. Despite teenagers knowing the risks of drunk driving, many still make the decisions to drive under the influence of alcohol. External factors such as peer pressure, impaired judgment, and public health issues all have influences on the decisions made by teenagers. A few definitions I'd like to go over are psychology, meaning the study or consideration of the soul or spirit, public health, meaning the health of the population as a whole, and sociology, the study of the development, structure, and functioning of a humane society. Throughout the years, laws have had to be created and changed to help keep people from driving under the influence. Although there have been many cases to show that outside pressures affect teenagers' decision to drive under the influence, some may argue that it comes down to personal choices and not external influences. Teenagers and young drivers who tend to view driving as a way to gain social status or popularity are more likely to engage in risky driving behaviors as well as be involved in car accidents. Young adults and teenagers usually drink when they are around peers or friends rather than if they are by themselves. Teenagers' surroundings and the pressures of maintaining a certain social image play a crucial role in the decision of not only driving under the influence but also deciding to get in a car with an intoxicated driver. For instance, this year there were 2 different car accidents involving drivers that were intoxicated, and which resulted in the loss of 4 teenagers, all between 17 and 18 years of age. In these accidents, the teens involved weren't acting alone. They were surrounded by friends who influenced drinking and driving. Most likely wanting to fit in, the teens made choices that they might not have made on their own. These tragedies show how the pressures to maintain a certain social image and being pressured by others to do something can lead to making dangerous decisions. While social pressures have strong impacts on the decision of teenagers, it is also important to look at the psychological effects that alcohol has on people. The psychological effects of alcohol include impaired judgment, slower reaction time, and lower decision-making abilities, which affects teenagers' ability to make rational decisions. The high rates of alcohol use among teenagers is concerning, as it is a critical time for brain development. When people misjudge how intoxicated they are, it can lead to them thinking they are capable of driving, which can result in dangerous driving. Unfortunately, friends and family members were in fatal car accidents due to driving under the influence. The level of intoxication was misjudged, and the ability to make decisions was also affected by alcohol consumption. For example, relating back to the 2 car accidents, one of the drivers in which survived was highly intoxicated, and in that moment, when deciding to get behind the wheel, it's most likely that his level of intoxication was misjudged. Alcohol changes how the brain handles decision-making and self-control, so by the drivers deciding to get behind the wheel, they probably thought it was safe to drive when it actually was not. The psychology of why teenagers often misjudge intoxication levels can often become a repeated cycle leading to alcohol dependency, which increases the problem of serious public health issues. Teenagers driving under the influence shows a serious public health issue as it causes a high rate of car accidents, hospitalizations, and emotional trauma for victims involved and their loved ones. Alcohol brands are finding new ways to promote drinking, which raises concerns for public health. The high numbers of deaths are tied to alcohol worldwide, which has had negative effects on the overall public health consumption. The high statistics of incidents involving alcohol shows how serious the issue is, especially for people that have personally been affected. For example, one student who lost 2 close friends and 2 cousins in separate car accidents as a result of driving intoxicated now views the use of alcohol as more than just a personal choice, but a public health problem that negatively affects families and loved ones. Furthermore, the amount of incidents regarding alcohol consumption is a major issue that can have long-term and irreversible outcomes. Some people believe that driving under the influence is a personal choice, but there are many external factors that influence teenagers' decision-making in these situations. Peer pressure, impaired judgment, and the promotion of alcohol all play a role in why teenagers drive under the influence, despite knowing the risks that exist. The consequences of these actions can be severe, including jail time, criminal charges, and risking the lives of themselves and others on the road, while also causing emotional damages to surrounding people. If teenagers are aware of the dangers of driving impaired, why do so many decide to take the risk anyway?